you know that Lakeland is all about the strawberries.
Yeah.
Gotta get your strawberry shake later.
My name is Brian Chase. I buy and sell business jets, turboprops, and helicopters so that I can afford to feed my love of flying. After 15 years helping other people live the dream of aircraft ownership, my wife Kim, son Thomas, and I recently purchased our own aircraft, a Cirrus SR-22 that needed some love and attention. Join us on our journey as we experience the joys of personal flying, meeting new people, and learning how to become more advanced and more proficient pilots. This is the Chase Aviation Channel.
Alright, sun and fun, here we come.
So in our last video, Kim and Thomas and I flew our Cirrus from our home in Western New York down to Charleston, South Carolina, our former home, for our first stop on our way to Sun and Fun. Here's a quick summary on how the flight went.
Cruising at 161 knots. Ground speed, we've got a little bit of a headwind now. Ground speed's 153. And let's see here. We are burning 13.4 gallons per hour. Man, that's awesome. And we're running Lena Peak right now. Averaging, well, not averaging, I guess this is the instant, 11.4 nautical miles per gallon.
So as I mentioned in that first video, the weather had started to deteriorate, and a client of mine who owns a Citation Mustang that I'd sold him recently was watching the weather and offered to bring us down the rest of the way to Sun and Fun. And it was a great opportunity to go fly in the jet, and it was really gracious of him to offer that. So this is his 2010 Citation Mustang. Beautiful little airplane. I really enjoy flying it. I've done it a couple times. This one is on both engine and airframe parts programs. So the costs on it are pretty, they're still definitely jet costs, but they're more stable costs anyway. There's a lot less surprise costs to it, as oftentimes is the case with jets. But that's Nate on the right. He's the instructor that's giving Adam on the left the time that he needs for his insurance requirements. So it was kind of a two birds, one stone for him. He gets to go put more time on the plane, gets us down to where we're going safely. And as much as I love flying my own airplane, I don't mind sitting in the back of a jet either, and neither do Kim and Thomas. So this is the next morning. The weather cleared off and was beautiful all across the southeast except for Central Florida, where we were going. At this point, we were kind of regretting the decision to not take our own airplane, because I knew we'd get a long way in beautiful sunny skies. But just as you get to, like, I think it was around Gainesville area, it started to go overcast, and it was a really, really low overcast. So it was not VFR conditions. And right now, Kim and I our personal minimums are a lot higher than that. And there you go. You can see the the undercast beginning. And as we got closer and closer, I had less and less regrets about taking the jet down there. So really glad we did it. And yeah, there we go. It's full overcast there, and nice little layer above. And I think it was just over an hour flight, it was an hour and 20-minute flight in the jet. And so it gave us more time, and we're like, hey, we got a whole extra day here. Why don't we go run down to the beach? Living in Western New York, and having just come out of winter barely. I think we'd gotten snow like a couple weeks before this. It was like, yeah, let's get down to the beach. So glad we did that. We landed here. Instead of going to Lakeland, we went over to, this is St. Petersburg, and spent a day there messing around at the beach. That was a great land.
Yeah, that was a good land and
Greaser.
nice.
Thank you.
Like butter. All right, don't forget your little bag, okay?
So how do you like it?
Wow.
So I just rolled on.
Yeah.
And that's when, so I watched and I called Peter and he's like,
So we finished up there, grabbed an Uber, and headed over to the Holiday Inn, St. Pete Beach, which I don't normally like to stay at the corporate hotels, but this one got like really high reviews, and I couldn't believe it that they were that high, like the #1 rated place at St. Pete Beach, and it was beautiful. Like, look at this place. They had just renovated it, and they did an incredible job with it. So I don't know who to give kudos to on that, but they did it. They must have outsourced it, and they did a really great job. The food was great. We had dinner there and breakfast the next morning there, and man, it was really good. And the water was gorgeous. There was a lot of people on the beach. I didn't film that. We saw some dolphins, but it comes down to the food, and we were close to Key West, so we had to get key lime pie. And after all that, finally got to Sun and Fun the next day. Just caught a taxi over there, and it was an easy little trip. Bright and early here, 0800. This is just as you come in the main entrance. This is Mojo Grip Mike. He's got a YouTube channel. That's his Sling TSI. Really nice airplane.
These are the glasses that I want.
Flying Eyes sunglasses. I wanted to stop by there and get a pair of Flying Eyes, and I did end up
They've got the
doing
Denali.
that. And man, I really like those glasses. They're expensive for what they are, but they're great. I got the gradient ones that are darker up top, for keeping the sun down, and lighter towards where the avionics are. This is the Textron booth. This is the Denali that's coming out. It's in production now. And we do a lot of PC-12 work, and so the Denali's been something I've been keeping an eye on for a little while. Just PC-12 Pilatus needs some more competition, and Textron's the one to give it to them. So that's a nice interior. I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seats plus a belted lav.
This is pretty.
And I think there was another seat there as well. Man, if they get full 8 seats, that little refreshment center up front. And I think this is either the G3000 or G5000 cockpit with the touchscreen controllers there. That's going to be a nice airplane. That's going to be a really nice airplane. And the TBO is now out to 5,000 hours on the engine. So could be a game changer. We'll be keeping an eye on it for
Who has
sure.
a fanny pack?
I do.
Oh, very nice.
Who would wear a fanny pack?
But there's nothing more efficient than a fanny pack.
For real.
They make this company makes a tactical version for guys.
Oh, really?
I was so tempted to get
Yes.
it. Yeah. Just because it was tactical, I could put Molly stuff on it.
Like the over-the-shoulder one, the MERS fanny pack.
Oh yeah. So this is beautiful.
Yeah.
We sell not a lot of PC-12s, but I've been really interested to see how this comes along because they need a little competition. I think they're too spoiled.
Where are you based?
We were in Charleston, South Carolina for a long time, but just moved to New York.
You did?
Yes,
Okay.
the only people that went that direction. So.
Yeah, what do you fly?
We have a Cirrus SR-22.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah. We need an upgrade plane at some point, but
Yeah.
it's not going to be that far.
Yeah.
You know, it's a big jump.
Yeah.
So what's the expected time frame before these are entering production? Do we know yet?
We're end of 23, early 24.
Okay,
what we're
that's
shooting
pretty good.
for.
Yeah.
And then orders are booked out to 25 at this point.
Are they?
Yeah. Already a little bit stacked out on.
And base price
6.6 plus options.
6.6, so probably 7.
About 6'8".
Yeah.
I mean, it's equipped with quite a bit of options. I would say closer to 100 or 200,000 in options.
Yeah. Okay.
Depending on what you want. The lav would be one of the biggest things because
that's an option?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So you have a removable lav, a belted removable lav, and then the externally serviceable lav, so fixed lav.
Okay.
And that one's about 40, but the belted removable is about $3,000.
So like what's in a King Air,
Yes.
sort of like a potty
Yes.
rather than a full lav.
Yes. So it's just
Okay.
that back
Yeah.
little partition door. That would be your lav.
Okay.
Right there. Yeah.
Very cool. So,
What were you flying before the Cirrus?
nothing. We have an aviation consulting business, and so
Oh,
we
you
just
do?
we just
Okay.
buy and sell
Is it
airplanes for
Chase
people.
Aviation?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm recording this. We have a little YouTube channel with like tens of followers.
Yeah.
And so I might put some of that on there, but
Yeah.
appreciate you guys chatting with us for a minute.
Absolutely.
So next stop is in Warbird country over there. I wanted to go check out the Cirrus booth and compare that's a 2022 SR-22. Kind of compare that against what I've got to see if it's worth the $1.2 million. That's a pretty cool. Those wingtips have the lights incorporated into them. I like that. I think that's a pretty neat feature that, that adds some value. And then of course the 4-bladed prop, also a big deal. You get some more prop clearance out of it, and they say it's a lot quieter. I think you pick up some initial rate of climb also, but I don't know if there's really any more additional airspeed, not out of the normally aspirated one, but maybe out of the turbocharged. So, pretty cool. And then this is the Vision Jet. So, I don't know, it's a long story. They were developing it for a long time, needed the additional capital, and the Chinese came in at the right time and funded what turned out to be a pretty impressive airplane, I think. It is a first of its kind. It's a single engine piggyback, so the engine is mounted on the top of the aircraft. Obviously it's full Fiki. It's got boots rather than the heated leading edge, which is interesting. It's not real fast. I think it's just over or right at 300 knots, maybe 310. This is the G2 Plus, so it's their latest and greatest. I'm not real up on what those small refinements are, but hey, it'd be a great upgrade plane for us as well. Like, I think we're sort of the target audience, husband and wife and a kid or two, in the back. I mean, man, it's a perfect setup. But I think one now is 3.5 million, maybe a little bit higher, or if you wanted one right now. But anyway, so back over to the dream airplane. This is the P-51 Mustang that everyone knows. Certainly everyone that's watching this channel knows. That's the F4 Corsair. Love that airplane. Go Navy. And then these guys were running. I cannot remember what this is. F5? Hellcat? Bearcat? Something like that. Somebody will tell me. And then we wanted to go stop by the Scheme Designers booth, of course.
Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
This is our son Thomas too.
Oh, nice to meet
He's our
you.
videographer.
Oh, nice to meet you. So.
I just actually emailed you. I was like, we're here.
Oh, really?
We'll find you.
Okay.
So.
Oh, perfect. Oh, it's really nice to meet you.
Yeah, you as well.
Yeah.
How's it going?
It's going really well. Been drinking a lot of water. It's been very hot.
Freaking hot.
You know, coming from Jersey where it's 44, rainy, and just everything down to here. It's such a nice adjustment.
Nice getaway.
Hopefully you get some sun, but not too much.
Well, actually, Casey definitely wanted to meet you guys because we really appreciated the kind words in the video.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Love it.
It turned out.
It looks so nice. Like when I saw the picture, I was like, "Whoa!" Like it just looks so
Like,
good.
I brought me to tears. Like,
She literally
so,
cried.
Like, I'm just so happy. So.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Like, it was really cool seeing your guys' reaction, and it was just. Thanks for keeping track of the process. Oh, here's Craig actually. Craig, this is Brian and Kim Chase with the Cirrus.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Chase. Nice to meet you too.
We're super thrilled with our paint.
It was certainly a beautiful.
Oh my goodness. So happy.
Could not be happier. So we thought we'd come by.
I was super excited throughout the project. Yeah, this one was really fun.
It was a lot. The other day I went back through all the iterations that we did. It was just difficult to see how far it got.
So then you agree with our sales pitch, which is we don't stop designing until you have
Yes, no, that's
So gracious, yes. Yeah, but I think that's probably the best way to do it.
I don't think you can get to a perfect outcome if you limit it.
Right,
You'll get to a
we
point.
even had like 2 different designs. We weren't sure which way we wanted to go.
Yeah.
And then we were like, Tyler started doing these cool feathers in the calendar, and we were like, okay, this is it. This is what we want. And if we hadn't had like both options, we would always wonder, should we have, redesigned a patriotic design?
I think the design you picked is so unique and different.
Oh, so this was really cool. We were sitting there at the air show, and this really nice guy named Mick and his lovely wife, whose name I cannot remember, unfortunately, right now, came up to us and they said, "Oh, are you guys, is this Chase Aviation?" And I was like, "Wow, yes, it is." I was blown away, and I kind of felt like a celebrity. So you know you made it big, I guess, when somebody recognizes you at an air show. So that was really, really cool, really nice guy. Hoping to see you again, Mick, at Oshkosh. We will be there.
They do that, and then we have, it's a G500 TXI. It's
Not ready to make any announcements here yet, but one of the reasons I wanted to go to Sun and Fun was to go see the Garmin G500 TXIs in person at the Garmin booth. Not really ready to do the upgrade to the Cirrus just yet, but it's available, and wanted to hear what Garmin had to say, so let's tune in for that.
assistant software menu. Yeah, 650, 750, that's right. So we're showing a remote transponder here. So again, in the Cirrus you have limited vertical space in that lower sub panel. So this is it's very efficient use of that space. So it's GPS, nav, com, remote ADSB out and transponder, remote Bluetooth audio panel. Now, if you did go with the dual 650s, only the 750 can do both the remote transponder and the audio panel. The 650 can only do the remote transponder. So if you went with dual 650s, you'd have to have a panel on audio panel.
Right.
So that's a decision point you want to think about is are you going for that? Do you want the 750 more than you want the panel mounted audio panel?
The big thing is for editing a flight plan.
Right.
So
So you can do that a couple different ways. One way is just through the GT touchscreen. Again, the 750 is going to make that a lot easier because it's a bigger screen. Very easy to add the lead approaches. You can activate vectors and fly. It's demo, so I don't know where the approach is. But anyway, we've got very simple operation. Home key map, home key traffic, key. And by the way, the traffic, this is the unique Garmin target trend relative motion vector. So notice it says absolute motion there.
Yep.
I'm going to change this to relative motion, and I'm going to change that vector from 3 minutes to 30 seconds to 5 minutes. Now, what that's doing is, in the Cirrus especially, you know, you're going 170, 180 knots. Say you were chasing a helicopter going 100 knots, so you had a 70 knot closure rate behind.
Yeah.
With the old system, and some of the competitive systems, you would just see that slower target's ground track. If you're both going north, but you think about it, you really don't care what direction they're headed. You care if you're going to hit them or not, right? So what target trend does is it gives you a combined reading. That little chevron is the direction of the ground track, but the green line's what you pay attention to. That's the target trend relative motion vector. It's taking your moving aircraft into account. So same scenario, we're closing behind the helicopter. It points at you, right?
If it's at you, then you've got a problem.
Right.
Okay.
So then if you slow down to 99 knots, slower than the helicopter ahead of you, then you have negative closure points away from you.
Okay.
Positive closure, negative closure. So then you adjust the length of the vector according to the time, 30 seconds, 2 minutes, or 5 minutes. Okay. But this, I can't tell you how nice this is.
That's really cool. I did not know that existed.
Yeah, this is a true shining to see the traffic, and it's a consistent traffic.
So the audio gets a little challenging here, as it was the whole time, but even more. That was a really cool feature that I think is unique to Garmin, to be able to see the trend vectors of traffic that's around you. Traffic awareness is a really big deal, and this gives you really unparalleled visibility into whether or not that traffic that air traffic control is telling you about is really going to be a factor for you.
Standard traffic, train, weather, XM weather, or ADSB weather, GPS position. Concentrate together and sharing it via Bluetooth with 2 iPads, or it could be an RS760, or the iPads can be running full-flight or so, and then having the iPad, at least one of those, you can plan your and then push it into the GTM. Once it's in there, everything's shared and everything's synchronized. It's really nice, especially when you're deviating around the weather and that sort of thing. It's really nice.
Can you modify flight plan within 4 flights and then?
Yeah, you can. The difference here in the operation is that the for certification reasons, if you change something up here on the flight plan, it of course changes on the Garmin side, it automatically updates the iPad. If it's changed on the iPad, you've got to acknowledge a message. And the reason we do that, it's an FAA certification thing. The reason we do that is if your son, where does he? Bluetooth in, and he decided, hey, Disney World, I want to go there. And you have your autopilot hooked up. It would take you there. I mean,
So this panel is it's their mock-up of what you can do with their displays. This isn't exactly how it would appear in the Cirrus. I'm gonna cut to the completed panel. Here it is here. All right, so this is what the dual G500 install looks like in a Cirrus. Obviously, it's gorgeous. I love it. Garmin has always been really the leader in these sort of retrofit panels. I think this has been out for 2 to 3 years now as a retrofit option. So that's dual G500s, a 650, 650. I think I would do a 750, 650. And then the G, you can't see it in there, but a GFC 500 autopilot. It would make it an absolutely flawless airplane, in my opinion. I like what's in there, the Avidyne unit, much better than I really thought that I would, but this is the dream panel. But it's like $120,000, maybe a little bit more. So it's real money. The other thing I wanted to do while we were there was to do kind of like a competitive head-to-head with the Avidyne unit. So I went to the Avidyne seminar, lots of technical difficulties trying to get it set up. But here's what the panel looks like in the Avidyne. So the Avidyne display it's interesting because it's a lot cheaper. They're bigger displays, they're taller, which is kind of a good thing, but it also means that the panel has to grow a little bit. Panel height has to go a little bit taller. It's a really nice system. In some ways, better than the Garmin, but there's other things, kind of complicated nitty-gritty stuff. But this system uses the original SIU that is in the Integra Cirrus that we've got, and that SIU is a big weak point. They failed, they're no longer supported, and you have to use that SIU, so you're not upgrading it. The autopilot is a DFC 90, and while that is a great autopilot, it uses all the old servos. So it needs to be a lot less money. It's not available yet. We'll see kind of how it goes, but there's just a little insight in some of the research I was doing. So right after we finished, about 2 days there, we got some really bad news from back home, and this is one of the reasons it took so long to get this video out. My mom was babysitting our Pomeranian Smokey, who you saw in the beginning of the previous video. He is 16 years old, and his condition went downhill very, very rapidly, so we had to go home so that Kim could put him down, unfortunately. We're gonna miss that guy.
So if you've ever lost a dog before, you no doubt have heard of the Rainbow Bridge, and it was kind of cool. On Kim's flight home, on her connecting flight, she was departing, and she came across these, it was double rainbows. It was pretty amazing.